Bon après-midi à tous et bienvenue à cette rencontre du comité de dérogation pour la Ville d'Ottawa. Welcome everyone to this public hearing of the Committee of Adjustment for the City of Ottawa. We are a City of Ottawa quasi-judicial tribunal that holds public hearings to consider Planning Act applications, mainly minor variances, consents to sever, but there are some other types of applications that we do here. As you can see, can enable remote participation by video conferencing for our registered speakers. Do note that you're being live streamed on YouTube and the video will be archived and available for future viewing by the public. My name is Anne Tremblay and I will be chairing today's hearing. With me today are my fellow panel members. So starting from on my left, Member Keklikan, Member Haskin, Member Durocher, and online we have Member Blatherwick. All right, so just in terms of the agenda, you saw that there was a very short agenda that was posted at the start of this meeting. We're going to go in that order today simply because, other than the adjournment request, but otherwise we're going to go in the order of the applications that you saw. Know that the panel members have reviewed all of the planning reports and all of the submissions that were filed in relation to the application, including any submissions in support or in opposition of the proposal. Today, we'll hear oral submissions relating to those applications. As part of the statutory public notification requirements, each applicant was required to post a sign on the property in question before the hearing. They also have to confirm that they did so either in writing, and if failing that, then we have to do an oral oath or affirmation today. But I believe all of the sign postings are in. Okay, so that's good. The panel may ask for a brief presentation on an application, followed by questions for the applicant and for city staff. Then we will hear from members of the public, and I'll start with the speakers list and then open it up to anybody either in the audience here today or online. Finally, once we've heard from everybody, the applicant will have the opportunity to provide a few final recap comments or rebuttal, and then the committee can make a decision. So when we make a decision, we can obviously grant the application, we can deny the application. We can always choose to reserve. And when we choose to reserve, it simply means that we are hearing maybe additional oral evidence that requires us to take a little more time to consider all of the evidence. So what we do is we regroup after this hearing and make that decision. And in all cases, and within 10 days of this hearing, their official written decisions and the reasons for it are sent to all of the parties that have requested a copy. So all of the parties that are part of the application in the first place, and then anyone else who may have requested to obtain a copy. So if you do want to come down and speak to the panel, I'm going to ask you, if you're on the speakers list, it's all good. I've got all the information I need, but if you're coming down without being on the speakers list, then I'll need your name, and I may ask you to spell your name for the record, and also your municipal address. So just keep that in mind. That's sort of our starting point on that. All right, so with that, then we're going to go to some procedural matters. Declarations of conflict of interest. So I need to know if there's any members. And just to be clear, it's for any of the items on either our agenda or the agendas of panels 2 or 3. So I see Member Keklikan. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will recuse myself for the agenda item number 4, Osgoode, and the property in question is in my community, so I will withdraw from those discussions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Member Keklikan. Anyone else? Nope, not seeing anyone else at this point. All right, so we do have confirmation of 2 sets of minutes. You were all provided with a copy of those minutes in advance. Any changes required to January 9th or July. I'm getting ahead of myself, I think. July 9th or July 23rd. If any, none? All right, so for the record, those are considered confirmed, both sets. All right, finally, we go to adjournments or withdrawals. So in this case, we do have an adjournment request. It's for 600 Manor, and I'm looking for the agent Nahal. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chair and Committee.
All right, just briefly, if you could explain the reasons for the request for adjournment and the dates to which you'd like to have the application adjourned.
Yes, of course. We recently received some materials related to a consent application in 1978. We received those last week, Monday, from Penelope, who was very diligent in pulling those together. We'd just like more time to consider the legal implications of them. So we'd like to regroup, and our request for adjournment is 6 weeks if the committee is amenable.
All right, so that takes us to, is it the October 9th meeting?
It would be October 8th, Madam Chair.
All right, sorry about, so October 8th, okay. Any questions from the panel members on that adjournment request? No, is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak to the adjournment either here or at home? All right, so with that then, panel members need a vote from you. All those in favor of the adjournment to October 8th? All right, for the record, it's unanimous. The application is adjourned till then, so we'll see you then. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, so now we're going to go in order. So I'm looking for Mr. Segreto. We got Mr. Segreto? Ah, there you are. Tara's iPad. I was wondering who that might be when I saw that on the attendees list. Good afternoon, Mr. Segreto. You're on mute. You are still on mute, Mr. Segreto. Okay, so we can always come back to you. How about we do that then? Is that all right? You can give me a thumbs up if you're good with it. I'll know. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. All right, so Mr. Segreto, we're going to move on to application number 2, and I'll come back to you. All right. Okay, so looking for Agent Russell at this point. Hi, come on down. Good afternoon. So we will require a presentation from you. So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, I didn't prepare any. Do we have the sheets that I sent in? We show those and I can speak to them?
So you don't have a prepared PowerPoint presentation?
No, I apologize. I thought it was just for submission. I can request in German and prepare that.
Okay. Then we can go with the site plan, maybe?
We do have the plans available, Madam Chair.
So in your presentation then, if you could speak to the minor variances that are to regularize the existing condition and those that are directly related to new construction and development.
Yeah. So I do have a updated site plan that has a planter box that I believe I had sent in on Monday. But the variance, I'm sorry, I'll pull them all up so I can speak to each one. Thank you. Okay, so in order, then nothing to prevent access or parking. So we put solid fixtures to prevent on the side yard facing Deschamps.
Sorry, without a site plan, it's really difficult to follow your explanation of the various variances and how they meet the four tests.
Okay. So I believe the site plan was up,
Which one was it there?
that one.
Is that the one with the most recent one?
The only difference is we put a planter box in the top left corner where the soft landscaping is.
All right, okay, we're gonna let the coordinator, if you wouldn't mind, to see if you can find that more recent one, so we are very clear about where that planter box is and the size and the rest of it. But we can use this one until you can find it, unless you found it already. Okay, all right.
It's a 5 foot by 2 foot planter box right at the end to make sure that nobody can pull in or park on the grass.
Sorry, what was that dimension?
5 feet by 2 feet. Right in line with the corner of the building.
Okay, so go ahead, if you could walk us through the variances, please.
Thank you. So we asked for the variance to make sure that on the asphalt side, which is the Durocher facing side, we have a garbage removal. So we are keeping it asphalt to make sure that the garbage truck can come pull up a 4-ton garbage container. The second one is no parking spot for emergency delivery vehicles, garbage trucks. It's the same thing, no motor vehicle parking is permitted on a lot less than 450 square meters. That refers to the same side on Durocher. The third one, 0 additional recess from the front setback line. So because we're not adjusting the footprint of the building, we didn't want to demolish it to reconstruct to put the setback. The rear yard setback reduction to 4.3 meters from 7.5, again, because we're not changing the footprint of the building. Okay. Okay. The front yard setback reduction, again, because we're not changing the footprint of the building. And same with all of the setbacks. So the right side setback reduction is 0.34 meters as well.
All right, so just let me make sure we're very clear here. So
Thank you.
variance C, with
Yeah.
regards to the front facade, that's an existing condition. We're not changing that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Variance D, rear yard, that's also to reflect an existing condition.
Yes, ma'am.
And the same with F, with regards to the corner side yard.
E and F, yes.
I beg your pardon?
E and F, yes.
E and F, okay, so those are those the only four then that are regularizing the existing condition?
The I is requested variance, the corner yard setback.
For H, I've got H, I don't have I.
Requested variance, corner yard setback reduction of 0.34 meters. Bylaw requirement 1.5.
F, you said? Where am I, why is that?
It's the second page, page 4.
You're going off the hearing, I think he's going off.
Oh, I see, okay, that's why. All right, so run that one by me again, so I can find it on my list here. So what is it then?
I have it listed as I. It's requested variance, corner yard setback reduction of 0.34 meters.
Yeah, that's F in mine, which is with a minimum, where the requirements is 1.5, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so because I'm reading off the actual notice of a hearing. And that's what people typically do follow for this. So just, do you have that notice of a hearing?
I don't think I do. I can look again.
Okay, well, so any others though? Because that's still 4 out of the 8. And is there any others out of those 8 that are regularizing an existing situation?
As far as I know, everything else is about the new construction, so the window glazing is 2 more.
Okay, all right, so I've got the permanent fixtures, I've got the motor vehicle parking, I have the window front facade, and then the corner facade as well on the windows. Is that correct? Those are the 4 new ones?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Just wanted to be very clear about that.
For the confusion.
That's okay, that's fine. Go ahead then, if you want to continue then with maybe the 4 tests.
Is the variance minor? Yes, all requested variances are technical in nature and relate to pre-existing conditions. No changes are proposed to the building's footprint, and the 3rd-story addition remains within the permitted height limit. Sorry, I said that in one breath. 2, is the variance desirable for the appropriate development of the land? Yes, the proposal begins a long-standing non-conforming building into functional compliance and supports compatible intensifications in a built-up residential neighborhood. 3, does the variance maintain the general intent of the zoning bylaw? Yes, the project aligns with the R4 UD zone's intent to accommodate multi-unit, low-rise residential dwellings while promoting walkability, affordability, and appropriate density. 4, does the variance maintain the general intent of the official plan? Yes, the application supports the official plan's objective for infill development and increasing access to affordable housing in urban areas with proximity to transit, services, and employment. Is that what you asked?
Okay, so that's from your submission,
Yes, ma'am.
obviously. Okay. You're aware that planning staff do have some concerns with your application?
The windows on the front of the building, I spoke to Penelope Horn about that.
All right, can you explain to us why you can't meet their requirement?
So on Monday, I sent a updated elevations drawing. I don't know if we have that.
Madam Chair, we don't have a record of the site plan or elevations submitted this week. Unfortunately, we're
Okay, and it's too late to email that right now, right? Sorry.
Yeah, but the committee doesn't typically want to deal with like plans on the floor. We typically like to make sure we've had them, received them,
Yes,
that they were, at least provided the Friday before the hearing. That's helpful to us, even if it doesn't make it in the package necessarily from your original submission. So so just a minute. We're going to go to staff. Go ahead.
Hello, Madame Tremblay. So essentially, I think what happened here is the applicant did send revised plans and they were sent to a committee coordinator who unfortunately I believe is out of office. I did just realize that. So from my understanding, they were sent to the committee, but I understand why they probably did not make it into the updated packages.
We increased the glazing based on the suggestions as much as we could so that we would require either less of a variance. So we met the right side 15% minimum, and on the front of the building, there's a 25% minimum, and we got to 17%.
Okay, so there's a few things that have to happen here, which includes modifying the notice of a hearing. So we have to make sure that if we're changing the request, it actually has to be reflected. So I'm actually growing a little more uncomfortable about proceeding with hearing in this application because I feel like we
Okay.
don't have the right plans in front of us. We would have to know exactly what the changes are to that particular variance that you've attempted to request less relief from. And then we would want staff's comments on that. Does that mean they still have concerns or they don't have concerns on it, right?
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
and the other thing I guess it would do is it would give you the opportunity to submit a PowerPoint presentation, which, so I'm looking for thoughts from committee members, but I'm actually thinking maybe adjournment to the next meeting to get that information. Thoughts?
Madam Chair, we should be curious to see if city staff have had a chance and what their, because I don't recall receiving a revised planning report either. So was that part of the package that maybe we didn't receive, but you guys are like good to go?
Thank you, Madam Lecaye. So essentially, staff did not have time to update the staff report. However, we did review the increase to 17% fenestration along the Durocher side, which were in the revised plans. And in our opinion, it would resolve our concerns because while they're not meeting the 25%, we feel that the increase of windows on the ground floor compared to the initial drawings does create a relationship to the street and provide visual interest, which, meets the intent of the provision, which was our concern beforehand. Ultimately, it is up to the committee's discretion if you would like to review the revised plans. I think that's very reasonable.
So we're seeing this increasingly where we're not getting the plans and then there's a promise that they're here or that we can make them better. And so the reality is we're getting semblances of the right plan, not the right plan for us to consider. So I don't like the trend, I'll be honest with you. I think that that's not, the direction the committee should be going in is using information that we don't have and just saying, well, So I think Member Blatherick, you're on board here with maybe an adjournment for 2 weeks?
Oh, most definitely, Madam Chair. There are a number of neighbors who are opposed to this application, and quite frankly, they need to know what the changes have been made. See if they've changed their opinion. And quite frankly, I'm not prepared to proceed without having all the information I need and we need to make a proper decision.
Okay, looking for Member Kecklican, support?
No, I agree. And then for my purposes, I think it would give an opportunity, and the adjournment would give an opportunity to clarify the variances and what's being modified and what's regularized.
Thank you.
That's not quite clear to me.
Just to add as well and we talked about the front windows, but also clarity on A, which is about adding no permanent fixtures. But you mentioned at the opening that there would be this 5x10 planter's box. So is A still needed? Is it not needed? Like, we just kind of need to know before we can proceed.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the whole package, I think.
Member Haskins?
Yeah, I agree. If we could get some clarification on the newly requested variances or the adaptations to them, it would be appreciated.
Okay, so sounds like we are back to an adjournment for at least 2 weeks. But I have a question for our Deputy Secretary Treasurer. When we are reducing the relief, no recirculation is required, right?
That's correct, Madam Chair. Consistent with regular committee practice, moving towards conformity hasn't traditionally required recirculation.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, with that then, Mr. Russell, looks like we are going to adjourn for 2 weeks. I would ask that because there is there are some concerns from the public. We would like you to have a PowerPoint presentation and walk us through it. Talk about the consultation too, if you could, as part of your presentation, who you talked to, how you notified the neighbors, and then we'll go from there. Does that sound like a plan?
Look forward to seeing you again.
All right, so we're looking at the date is September 3rd.
That's correct, Madam Chair.
All right, we'll see you. Well, I guess is there anyone who wants to speak on the adjournment to September 3rd, either here or online? Okay. Members of the panel, I need your vote. All those in favor? Okay, so for the record, the application is adjourned to September 3rd. Thank you very much.
Thank you. See you then.
Okay, so let's go back to Mr. Segreto then, if we could.
Hello?
Oh, Mr. Segreto.
Done.
All right, we worked out our technology problems.
Uh,
Okay, so we don't need a presentation from you on this. We're gonna go straight to questions from the panel. And we understand there are some members of the public who would like to speak to this issue. Are you aware, Mr. Segreto, at this point of some of the concerns that have been submitted to the committee?
I've received 2 letters. I'm aware of some of the concerns, yes.
All right. Did you want to speak to that before we go to questions?
No, it's fine. We can continue and then I can respond to the concerns of the neighbors.
All right, so members of the panel, any questions for Mr. Segreto? Okay, I guess I'm just have one then for you, Mr. Segreto. The buildings are under construction now, correct?
Yes, it is. It's presently under construction.
Okay, and you did have a tree information report as part of that building permit approval?
Yes, we did.
All right, so my understanding is that there has been the loss of the lilac that was intended to be retained. Can you either confirm or clarify that?
I'm not aware of that, but it is my understanding that the lilac may have been damaged or may have been removed. If that's the case, I wasn't aware of that from the builder or from the owner. But if that's the case, that the lilac is damaged or whatever, then I believe that the proper assessment of that lilac should be assessed and that the owner builder shall have to replace the value of that lilac.
All right, thank you, Mr. Segreto. I'm just wondering if we have somebody from forestry, because I'd just like to hear from forestry how they'd like to have this handled. I don't know that it's an issue. This is what we've heard, but we just for process standpoint, how would that be dealt with? Mr. Alvarez Barkham. Hello.
Hello. Unfortunately, I'm not aware of any damage to the lilac, but from a process standpoint, yes, if the tree has been damaged or destroyed due to improper protection, we would be looking for removal and replacement, including compensation. If there's any evidence of wrongdoing or improper protection, then there may be fines issued as well. That is a potential avenue. But most likely we would be looking for removal and replacement.
All right, thank you very much, Len, for that clarification. Those are my questions, and if nobody else has any others, then we can go to the public hearing portion. I don't have any speakers registered, but I'm going to make a call out. Is there anyone in the audience here today or online who would like to speak to this application? Are we seeing there's nobody who's come forward? All right, I'll just share then with you, Mr. Segreto, maybe just for the record, you can address this. There's apparently been some issues, not that it's a panel, the committee of adjustment issue, just for the purposes of informing anyone who has had some concerns and who may be listening but not coming forward. There's been some complaints about either the construction activity, I guess, that's been going on. I haven't had a chance to read those submissions directly, but you're aware of that?
No, I'm not. I'm not aware of that. As I said, I'm not the builder or developer. But if there are complaints and there are any issues, I would be more than happy to address it to the builder and with the concerned neighbors that have these issues. I don't know what the issues are, of what the complaints are. All I know is about the lilac and about the permit that we did take out to remove the existing tree, which is on our property. Those are the only 2 issues that I'm aware of. Any other issues with respect to construction? I have no idea. But if I can find out what they are, then I will relate it to the builder owner.
All right, thank you, Mr. Segreto. As usual, I like your cooperative nature. Again, it's not a committee of adjustment jurisdictional issue, but because we've we've become aware of it. Is it possible just to share that information with Mr. Segreto? The best we can do, I guess, is pass along the concerns and have, in hopes that somebody will address it and speak with some of the neighbors.
Mhm.
Yes, Madam Chair. It may be the second letter that the agent was referring to earlier. They were both provided this morning, I believe.
All right, well, we'll do that then, Mr. Segreto, and we appreciate any assistance you can provide in that regard. Okay, well, I guess we don't have anyone else in the audience or at home who wants to speak to this application. I guess at this point, any issues with any of the conditions, Mr. Segreto?
No, not at all.
All right, well then I guess we can go to a vote on this. All in favor? All right, for the record, the application is granted unanimously. Thank you so much for your time today, Mr. Segreto.
Thank you so much. Bye.
All right, bye. We're going to go to our very last application at this point, which is for 122A Osgoode. I believe we're going to lose Member Keklikan in the process. And we're looking for Mr. Lutka. Hi, I always pronounce your name wrong. It's because I look at it and I don't get Lutka out of that, but come on up. So we are going to request a presentation from you, if we could, please.
Okay. So I've got a hard copy here, and if you could just pull up, I only need 2 drawings for this presentation. It would be my A0, the site plan. And then the second page would be the A6, which shows the proposed front elevation and the existing front elevation. So A0 and A6.
Mr. Lutka, no PowerPoint presentation available? Okay.
No, I don't have that. But I have a hard copy of everything in front of me. Okay. Yeah, if I could just, that's, if you could pull it down a little bit more, just so you see the rear of the property. Yeah, okay. So, this is an existing building, 122 Osgoode Street. It's been vacant for a couple of years. It used to be a bookstore, I believe. And our intent is just to keep the original building that's there and do some extensive restoration to it to sort of restore the looks to the original with some simple modifications to adapt to our concept of converting this building into 6 residential apartment units. And so the idea is that that front portion at the bottom stays, and then everything in the sort of gray highlighted area, that's all new construction. And so that's new construction. And if I just follow the minor variances, the first one is a reduced rear yard where the zoning bylaw calls for 7.5 meters. I'm asking that to be reduced to 6.19 meters, which is just barely over 4 feet. So that's the first one, A. And then B is, let's see. B, or number 2, it's to permit a reduced interior side yard setback of 0.61 meters. And again, that's looking at this, it's the left side east. You can see the dimension of 0.61 meters just at that little check on the left side in the middle of that gray area. That's allowing for that.
So that's a new reduction?
Yes. That's a new reduction. That's B. And then we're going back to the existing building, the original bookstore. So the original bookstore, basically, the front of the building sits almost right on the legal lot line, and the right side sits on the lot line as well. The right side of the building is actually connected to another building. So the zoning bylaw is basically saying that, you know, we have to have a front yard setback complying with with zoning of 3 meters and a side yard setback of 1.2. But I'm saying we just want to leave the building as is. I'm not the building's been there for a long time. We don't want to make any changes there. We're asking that we can just leave that as is. So that's addressing C, the right side setback, and D, the front yard setback. And then if we can just flip over to page A6. So A6, can we zoom in on that a little bit? Can we blow that up just a little bit? Yeah, that's great. So on the right side of this diagram, I've drawn the existing building as is, and on the left, you can see the proposed. So on the proposed, you can see at the rear, there's a flat roof addition at the back, just below the tip of the existing gable roof, that triangle-shaped gable roof. And the idea, again, is just to sort of restore and renovate the building to keep it very, similar to the original, with a few amendments to accommodate the proposed design. So E is the height. So the height of this, it's not a zoning bylaw. It's comments from the Heritage Department. So one of the first calls that I made was to Heritage, just as a regular process to see if they have any comments. And this building does lie under a Heritage zoning area overlay. But when I spoke with them in the beginning of this project, they said, well, because of the conditions, you actually don't need a heritage permit. You don't have to contact us. If it would be nice if you'd keep us in the loop on conversation, which I did. But so then it turned out they came just recently and said, well, there are some heritage rules. It's called the heritage overlay that you have to comply to. So even though the height allowance by the zoning bylaw is 12.5 meters, heritage has reduced that to just over 9 meters. And what they're saying is, we see what you're doing. You've got a flat roof. It's just below the peak of the existing. And you can see on top of that, my dimension, I'm actually allowed to build up to 1.84 meters taller by the zoning bylaw, but I'm being dictated by heritage, even though I don't need a heritage permit. So they're saying, well, we see your flat roof, but according to the rules, the height of that flat roof should be determined from the average grade to the mid-span of the existing gable, which I was aware of in architecture designing new buildings. We always measure like that, like how tall is the building going to be? You take the gable roof, you measure from the midpoint of the triangle, and that's your height. And they said, well, you need to conform to that. You have to apply that method to this as well, even though we're well below the zoning bylaw for height. So I'm asking if I can just keep it like that. So that's the first one I'm asking for. It's the overlay, heritage overlay section 60 to permit a proposed height of 10.66 meters, which I'm showing there. The top of the flat roof is 10.66 meters, whereas section 60 of the heritage overlay requires that the roof be not exceed 9.09, based on the fact that they're saying that flat roof should be not beyond height of the midpoint of the existing gable. So that's all I'm asking for on that. Does that make sense? Are you with me on that?
Yes, I think we're with you.
Yeah, and then so the next one is, this is the final one, F. Again, this isn't a zoning bylaw. This is coming back from Heritage. Heritage, the overlay, Heritage Overlay 60. If it's just, again, this is kind of strange. If it's just a regular zoning bylaw, I'm allowed to have those steps shown on my front elevation on the left. Those steps are so that you can walk down the building and then you can enter the building on the side. And it's pretty standard. And if it's just the zoning bylaw, would be no problem. But Heritage comes in and they say, well, we've got a rule that you're not allowed to have projections into the side yard. So I'm just saying, okay, I have to get into the building. Like my tenants need to be able to leave the building and enter the building from the side. So can we please do that? I just want to have the steps on the side so they can walk up. There's a landing. They go in the side door. They're in the building. They go up the side door. They come down. They can go up the steps to a landing and then another few steps back to go to the backyard, grab their bicycles. They can bring it back up, walk up those steps and come right down the front. And that's a nice wide 1.2 meter, 4 foot wide access right to the back of the building. That's what I'm asking for.
All right, thank you. Are you able to give us the 4 tests?
Yes, yeah, of course.
Justification?
This will take a couple of minutes. It's about a page and a half. So minor variance 4-point test. Number 1, are the variances minor? We believe that the above minor variance request is minor as it is a request for a single variance of reduced rear yard setback. The additional 1.31 meters of the building length will allow for a total of 6 dwelling units within the proposed 3-story building. These units will then have sufficient floor area and functioning design layouts. We are requesting permission to allow the front and side walls of the existing building to remain. Our proposal is to restore the exterior of the existing building while adding residential apartments units within the building, as well as to the rear with a new addition.
Mr. Lincoln, so we do have that. We have all of the words, so I don't mean for you to read
Okay.
everything. If you could just summarize in your own words, and in your opinion, why these are, it's, I just wanted to get that on the record, your
Sure.
own perspective on it.
Well, I think, so I'm designing this, I'm leaving the existing building as is, and I'm just going to have the addition out the back. So it will barely be visible from the street. So I think it complies to zoning as per. It's only 6 units where I could have possibly pushed for more units. I think I'm using the existing, I mean, the property it's narrow and long. And I'm required to have a 1.2 meter setback for both side yards, which I've done. And that also allows me, that's the minimum setback for the side yards to allow for me to have windows. And obviously I need windows. So it was easy for me to comply with that. So that gives you the basic shape of this building. I think it uses the property nicely. I'm allowing an amenity area in the back, which slightly exceeds the mandatory amount required. I'm providing bicycle parking in the back. There's no vehicle parking, but it's not necessary in this case. And as well, if you look at the front again, the existing building has like a little balcony in the front. And my intention there is that's going to be used as an area of refuge, like a secondary egress. If there's ever a fire, several of the tenants can come out to this front area and there's a fire truck, they can go up and get them. But at the same time, I'm going to sort of do it up nice. So it'll be a secondary amenity area. All the tenants will have access to it. It'll be sort of a private upper deck.
Terrace.
Yeah, terrace, exactly. It's a terrace, you know, as a little bonus just for everybody in the building.
Okay, any last words then, Mr. Ika?
I think it does like as far as the new official plan, I think it addresses it nicely of you know, providing some new apartment spaces. They're nicely done. They're not too big, but they, you know, if I'm granted this extra 4 feet at the back of the building to let me extend it longer, they're quite nice, and I think that plays into the need for more apartment units downtown, as per the infill too.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions then? Member Decaye.
Through you, Madam Chair. Yeah, just to clarify, so for variance B, and if we could go back to the first picture that was put up, please.
Site plan?
Yeah. So just to clarify, the reason why this one is required is because you're continuing, the new building is continuing from the existing building.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's why B is required.
Right.
Okay, that clarifies that. And then just clarity on, of the 6 units, I think your application said that the most of them would be 850 units, but what's the unit makeup of the 6?
850 square feet.
Right, are they bachelors, 1 bedroom, 3 bedroom,
Well,
2 bedroom?
I've got 2 bedrooms for all of them, and then the front existing portion is going to be basically a bachelor, and the one above is going to be sort of a bachelor as well. And then I'm stealing a little bit. If you go back to that A6 page, so if you zoom in on the left side, that's actually pretty good. So the ground floor will be 1 apartment, sort of a bachelor style. Washroom will be in the basement, and then you'll go up the stairs and you'll have another small apartment in the front, which will be sort of another bachelor. And then there's not a lot of ceiling height above to actually put a second floor in there, but I'm stealing some of that space, and there'll be sort of like a little storage loft. So it'll be a storage loft, open concept. I've got skylights, some nice natural light coming in there. It's not huge, but it's because it's designed open concept, it'll be nice.
But this is not 6 bachelors. I guess it's just,
No, it's 4 2-bedrooms and 2 bachelors.
thank you.
Any other questions from the panel?
I do.
Member Blatherwick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Lutka, you're aware of the comments from one of the neighbors regarding your proposed construction?
Yes, I am, Jean. We had a nice talk yesterday.
Okay, if you'd like to relate to the panel, I guess your discussion with the neighbor and whether or not they're happy with.
Yeah, I believe he's happy. I've spoken with him a couple of times. He called me earlier in the process, and originally the new addition had a gable triangular roof as well, and it was just an architectural complement to the existing gable roof, and he didn't like the height of it. So after going through these comments with the Heritage Department, I decided to change that proposed gable triangle roof to a flat roof. And when he learned that yesterday, he was quite happy. I think, who's Jean? He's not here? I thought he was here, but he followed up with a letter that I received either this morning or yesterday saying he was quite happy. And I don't know if you've received that. Penelope, do you have that? His Jean's follow-up letter? Yeah.
All right, so the neighbor is not 100% happy, but a lot happier than he was with the changes you've made.
Yeah, he was, yeah. And the second item we discussed was he had concerns about how the water would be discharging off the new addition through the property. I explained that with all projects, we're not allowed to discharge water to the side properties, the interior lot lines. It's either has to go to the front or the back. And because of the existing conditions, and I'm working with my grading engineer, Tony Mack. We've discussed this as well. We want to drain the water, direct the water towards the back of the property. And he's in agreement with that. And I told him he can come anytime and we can discuss it further.
Doesn't your runoff water have to go to the street? That's my understanding.
It can either go to the back of the property or the front of the property. But in some cases, I don't believe there is, because it's so old, I don't believe there's a storm system in the front, like storm sewers to catch it. So Tony, the grading engineer, said because of those conditions, let's propose going to the back of the property. And that was a conversation.
And into what? French drain? Or just
Not a French drain, but basically we're going to be doing the excavation for the basement. So at the same time, we can go deeper and maybe add a pit of crushed stone, spread it over the backyard into something like that.
So you're convinced that this will handle runoff from spring melt or from a heavy rainstorm?
Yes, that's the whole idea.
And the city infrastructure people are happy with this plan?
I haven't had feedback from them yet, but Tony Mack, the engineer who does the grading, he does the grading plan with all the different elevations and the slopes of the property on how the water is directed on the land, as well as all the services going into the building, including water, sanitary, storm, and he's been working on all of that, and it's basically up to him to get the final on that. But he was suggesting that we go out the back as of yesterday.
And if the city infrastructure department says no, you're taking your runoff water to the street, then what do you do?
Well, if we have to take it to the front of the building, then we'd have to come up with a way to do that. I mean, anything is possible. We could maybe create some sort of off the roof. We could have eavesdropping that runs along the roof, the upper area, and then discharges in the front. Maybe it could be a compromise of both the rear and the front.
So have you submitted your drainage and grading plan yet?
No.
So this will be submitted before we get to building permit stage, correct?
Correct.
Which means you may be told by the city that you're going to have to put your runoff water, all storm water, to the street.
Possibly, correct.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr. Luca. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else on the panel have questions? All right, if not, I do have somebody on my speakers list. I'm looking for Mr. Jean-Jacques Desgrange. Bonjour, monsieur.
That's the person I'm talking about. That's the neighbor.
OK.
Desgrange, comme sur une ferme, en effet.
Desgrange, OK. Bonjour, monsieur Desgrange. Fait que, voulez-vous en parler en anglais?
Oh, we on Papa. Yeah, we can do this in English, no problem.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so I want to reiterate that the conversations I had with the architect here was were very cordial, very nice. And I'm actually really happy to be able to speak with him. And so we can sort of deal with the little issues that come up. So I'm really happy about the flat roof, that's for sure. About the smaller or the reduction of the backyard, I'm not too sure what the minimum amount of square footage is needed in the apartments, but to me, it sort of reduces my greenery in the back, if you want, and of course the sunlight. So from that aspect, I'm not too keen on having it reduced that much, subject, of course, to minimum square footage requirement for the apartments. So on that level, if that can be considered, especially with regards to the fact that there's practically no backyard left after that, at least insofar as what was there before, let's say. I would appreciate that very much. Now, that being said, it's not the only reason. There's another very practical reason that needs to be taken into account. That backyard will be pretty well landlocked for any machinery. It's going to be, I understand the architect speaking to the steps on the side of the building to bring it to the backyard. Yeah, whatever's needed on that level, I don't really have a problem, except that there'll be more traffic there. But that's not an issue per se. My issue is how to bring machinery or whatever is needed either on my building or to fix things on my building or otherwise to fix things on the newly constructed building. So I'm not too sure how to go about that. I'm not too sure how the minor variance committee can actually deal with that, but it's certainly a concern I have. So certainly my building is very old and it does necessitate some work on a height level. And because it's landlocked, I'm not too sure if you reduce the backyard where you want to put some things up in order to work is going to be a good idea. But, and I'm sorry about that because it didn't dawn on me when we were talking about it before with the builder there. Insofar as water drainage, yeah, I'm glad of the discussion that we had today. The important thing is that the water does not sit there. And if it's not going to sit there, it has to roll away somehow. And if it'll do so by going on the neighbor's property. I like the fact that the developer's open to finding ways to get it to the street. And in fact, in front of my property, there is a storm sewer, and I believe there is one on Osgoode Street as well. I'm quite sure, actually. So I think there's something to do with that. We'll be discussing this anyways, but in essence, like I said, the main thing I have is how long the building goes to the back. That's probably the bigger minor variation I have an issue with. Again, thanks for allowing me to speak, and yeah, I'm really... yeah, I'm glad about the flat roof. I have to say that. I'm very happy with the way discussions are going with the architect here.
All right, thank you, Mr. Desgrange. Any questions from our panel members at all? Okay, well, that is the only person on my list. Is there anyone else in the audience here or online who would like to speak to the panel about this application at 122A Osgoode? Nobody else? All right, okay. Then over to you, then, Mr. Litka, sorry, to finish up and recap in any way you would like.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Just to recap, I think it's a nice project. I'm excited about doing this. I received a call from members of Heritage and the Planning Committee with the city in regards to this, and they're very excited about this getting done as well. And I'm just doing everything I can to make it fit and to make it work and to keep everybody involved happy.
All right, thank you. Okay, looking to the committee then, reserve, or is everyone ready to make a decision?
I can decide.
All right, looks like we're making a decision, so all those in favor?
Yep.
All right, so Mr. Lutka, the decision is unanimous. Your application is approved. So good luck with your project. You've heard some of the concerns from Mr. Derange.
Sean?
And please ensure that some communication continues
Of
between
course,
you and he,
will do.
if you could, please.
Thank
All
you
right,
so much.
well, with that,
Okay,
enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.
you as well. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
That concludes our agenda. So unless anybody